Hey everyone, I wanted to show you one of the recipes I'm working on for the Angular Cookbook second edition, and this one is about Angular performance. So this application on the left right now has a performance issue, and on the right we have the solution on when you follow the recipe. So here we have every user card that generates a random color whenever there is a change detection. So for example, if I click inside and outside, even though if I did not do anything at all, just clicking inside and outside re-renders the whole components. And that is because Angular works with Zone.js, which has to monkey patch the events to understand or to look at, all right, did something happen? And now that we are moving to signal-based approach in signal-based components, the things might change, but there are still a lot of businesses out there, a lot of applications out there which might still be using the default change detection or the default components which are not signal-based components. So in this particular case, you can see that even clicking inside and outside basically causes the re-render. And I have a button here which updates this guy's last name. And when I do so, you're going to see that the count here is 13, here 7. And if I click it, you can see the count changed from 13 to 17, 4 re-renders, and this one changed from 7 to 9. Now you can see that all the other components have changed from 7 to 9. So whenever I do this, there are 2 re-renders that happens for some reason. So now that means that our application is super slow. One of the things that you would also notice is that if I try to search someone, for example, Irene, I don't even see my letters being typed because the application is so slow and the UI is essentially blocked. And if I remove this and go back, you see there's a lag in the loader itself, and this application is super slow in general. Now, we are using the ng-for directive to repeat over the array of users, and we are rendering the components, and we are also using the track by. So we're still using some performance benefits when it comes to optimizations, but it's really slow. And the reason for that is that I have explicitly, forcefully added a function that generates a color that is super heavy because we use some sort of factorial logic behind the scenes. Regardless of that, when you actually follow the recipe, towards the end, this is how it looks. You can see that first of all, on rendering, the count here is 1 for each card, whereas here the count is 2 or 3 in this case. So now if I try to click inside and outside, you can see that nothing happens absolutely. So no changes there. And then if I try to update this guy's name, if I click this, you can see that only this component got re-rendered and got the count 2. And now if I keep doing this, you can see that there's nothing that changes in any of the other components whatsoever. And that is because we are using the change detector ref to basically detach the change detector, and we are doing it smartly because this function updates this particular component, so we cannot just detach it and never reattach it. So we're doing some magic there. But regardless of that, now the count is 10 here, and here you can see the count is 1. If I try to do iron, you can see my letters being typed. You saw the loader with the animation properly, and then you can see that from 10 the count here became 11. Now if I go back to my previous page, all the other cards would re-render again because I'm re-rendering the whole list, and that's why the count has now become 2 from 1. So this is far more performant than what we actually saw here, where we were just getting huge number of counts on every click or every interaction basically. And that also happens when we are trying to just search something, and you'll see that even on each key press we have so many events triggering that would trigger the change detection. So I hope that makes sense. So if you're wondering how this works, obviously you would have to wait for the book, for the second edition of the Angular Cookbook, where this recipe would be included. But imagine this application, which is so fun. If you had the code for it, you would obviously be playing around with it and learning quite a lot. And this is one recipe out of 80 plus recipes within the book. So you can imagine all those topics like Angular animations. We have performance optimization, which is this recipe. We have unit tests, end-to-end tests. We have Angular forms, so many things that we can talk about. So let me know, what is the topic regarding Angular that you are more excited about, and the topic that you have been willing to learn for so long but you haven't got a chance yet. Let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.